Paul Bennett. Well, that'll be the last time I'll call you that because everyone knows you as Benno. First of all, a very warm welcome to the New Saints. You're coaching with the academy. Tell us a little bit about your coaching background.
Well, I played a lot of non-league football after coming out of the league, and I just thought that was the way forward for me when I was getting towards my 30s. A lad called Phil Wilson was working for Tranmere Rovers, and he asked me to help out, which I did, for nothing, as you do in them days, or as you did, and I got the bug for the coaching then. Stayed there for a couple of years with Phil, working with Warwick Rimmer, who was really an interesting guy, and then somebody asked me to join them at Crewe, so I ended up at Crewe Alexandra, which was the basis for my coaching, if you like.
And then from there you also went to Everton.
Yeah, that was the club I supported all my life. So when they came calling, I had to go really. Although I've got a lot to be thankful for while at Crewe, working under Steve Holland, who's the best I've ever seen, the best I've seen. So it was great working with him. But Everton was my club, and like I said, when they came calling, I felt I had to go.
I was going to ask you if you were a red or a blue, although when it comes to working in the game, in many ways those fan loyalties aren't the same as when you're actually coaching the academy.
No, that's right. You're professional through and through, so whichever club you're working for, that's your club. As I said, I've always supported Everton, and I just felt, that was the right thing to do at the time. And then I spent a long time at Everton, 14 years, which was a fantastic experience for me. Yeah.
And whether Crewe, Alexandra or Everton, have you coached any youngsters, as they would have been back then, who went on to make a big name for themselves in the world of football?
Oh, no, there's no major talent, if you like. None that's gone on to, hit the heights. But there's an awful lot of boys who are coached at Crewe and Everton who are making good careers for themselves, in championships and the other leagues. What I am hoping for is next season a boy called Kieran Dowell. I'm hoping he lights up the Premier League next year with Norwich. He got a great move to Norwich last season, and he's been scoring a few goals for them after a bad injury. So I'm hoping he can really kick on and show the Premier League what they've been missing, if you like.
Well, our assistant manager Chris Sargent described you as the best in the business, so you certainly made an impression on Sarge. How did you come to meet him?
Sarge came to work for Everton for a short time. He was working in a development group, so I was helping out with that group. We got to know each other that way. I knew about him anyway. As I said, I'm an Evertonian, so I knew his dad, through watching him, and just getting to know him, through those little coaching experiences that we had together. I don't know where he got that from, that I'm the best, but I'll take it.
And in a way you've sort of answered the next question, because how did you or your path lead to Park Hall and the New Saints?
Well, through Sarge, obviously. Everton made me redundant just before Christmas, and I started my own little coaching business, if you like. So I'm doing some one-to-one stuff and some small group coaching. And Sarge called me and just said, come to TNS. I said, I'm really busy. He said, just one night, just do one night. I said, well, if I can fit it in, I'll come down. And he said, no, you'll love it. And he sold it to me. He was very persuasive, like I said, and I knew him anyway. So again, something that I've fell into and enjoying straight away. So
And what can the younger players here at Park Hall expect to learn from you?
I'm all about the techniques. Hopefully, they can master the ball. I think if they can all handle the ball, that'll be my job is to make sure whatever situation they're in, they can deal with the ball in those tight areas and under pressure. So improving everybody's technique, I think that's my aim. I watched Man City last night. I'm watching Phil Foden. His techniques are just outstanding, as well as all the others. But that's what I aspire to is to make the boys as technically proficient as possible.
Not just the youngsters on the pitch, of course, but there are young coaches in the academy setup. What sort of influence would you expect to have on them?
Same again. I'd hope they'd watch me work and take whatever they want from it. I'm sure they've watched lots of coaches work and will watch coaches work over the years, and they'll take bits and pieces that they like, pieces that fit in with them, but they have to make their own way, and they have to have their own style. I wouldn't want anyone to try and copy me, although that would be flattering. But if they can pick up a few bits and pieces from me, I'd be happy with that.
And we've already mentioned Crewe, Alexandra and Everton, where you've spent some considerable time. How does the setup at Park Hall compare with those clubs that you've been at in the past? And I know we chatted before we went on air, so I can ask you that question.
Yeah.
And I can say, be honest, because it was a good question, good conversation that we had before.
Of course. Look, the facilities at Everton are fantastic. I mean, the new training ground they built just after I'd gone there at Finch Farm is fantastic. But when I came here, when Sarge persuaded me to come, I was a bit surprised at how good it was, the facilities they've got here. So although they haven't got the same amount of space, they use the space really, really well. And I've been impressed with Jason and the programme he's running, and the way the coaches work. So I don't think there's a lot of difference between the programmes at those clubs. It's just the amount of space you have and the amount of time you have with the boys. I'm really impressed with TNS.
And every young boy wants to be a professional footballer. What advice would you give, say specifically to the youngsters in the New Saints Academy about progressing their own game?
As I've just said, master those techniques. Like I said, the programme here is really impressive, and it concentrates a lot on the techniques. They have to focus on them, and they have to become. They have to be able to master the ball. Whatever position they play in, they've got to deal with that ball. And the journey will take them where it takes them. Then practice, but don't just practice. Practice properly. That's what I say to the younger ones. It's okay just kicking a ball about, but then the detail of how to practice it properly. I think that's key.
That's great advice there. Well, finally, Benno, you've mentioned how busy you are, and that's understandable with people that work in football. That tends to be the nature of the beast. What do you like to do away from the game to relax?
I live by the canal, and I'm really keen on the narrow boats. So I had a narrow boat for a short while. Even lived on it for a short while. So I spend a lot of the time at the bottom of my garden watching the boats go by, which is lovely. So I don't do any other sports or I haven't got any other real interests apart from football. And when I do relax, like I said, I'll sit at the bottom of the garden and watch the boat sail by.
Well, when you said you've got a canal at the bottom of the garden, I thought you were going to tell me that you were a fellow fisherman. In that case, we would be chatting for another 2 or 3 hours beyond that. Benno, thank you for your time today and all the very best in your work at the New Saints.
Thank you very much. Cheers.